So on February 7th in 2008, I gave birth to a little baby girl named Caitlin. That's why I wouldn't cry, I'm sorry.
You're human. Want me to read? Okay.
I will do it.
All right.
She came into the world at 2 pounds 10 ounces and lived for 2 weeks in the NICU of McCurls. Sorry, I hope you can understand me. On February 21st, we held her for the first and the last time, and I left the hospital, obviously broken-hearted, with empty arms, and I didn't know then, but that moment would be the birth of the rest of my life. And we moved on to try again, and try to heal, and just, try to get through it. I mean, most of you are probably here and know what that's like, just trying to move on. And I threw myself into creating things because I needed an outlet of some sort. And I made my first miscarriage blanket for 2 gals who had miscarriages, and they walked out with even less than I had. And so I made them a teeny tiny little blanket and a little hat to represent the gestation. And those were my first miscarriage blankets. And I have a whole business based on it now. My blankets have went all over the world to help all the angel mothers that I can with their losses. So that was the birth of miscarriage blankets and more. And I continued to work on little hats and little blankets and booties and everything that I could think of that I loved and cherished from my loss that I wanted to pass on. And I was determined that the day that my next child was born, it was my hope that I would donate like all this stuff. And I ended up with a trunk load of stuff that my husband and his friend Tom carted up to Wilson's L&D. They probably thought it was crazy, this person coming in with like bags and bags of just garbage bags of painted boxes and hats and booties and anything I could even think of that would help. And that was the birth of Caitlin's Angels, which is what the stand here is representing. I still to this day donate boxes. This year alone, we've reached 6 hospitals. We're hoping to do 2 more. We've donated 186 boxes. And then that's just the top of it. We ran 2 programs. One was to collect 201 hats for a child across the country who lived 201 days. And we managed to collect 201 hats and were donated to a NICU in her honor. I also just got done driving 30 boxes to Glens Falls, donated in honor of a mother that I've worked closely with over the years. She has 4 sweet little angels, Michael, Gabriel, Colby, and Angel. And I'm helping her start a program. In her area, we donated also 30 miscarriage kits, so first she can donate to her OB offices, and I've started donating to some locally to help with, the hospitals typically take 16 weeks and up, and I want to make sure I try to cover it all. So I've been donating to some OB offices, smaller kits, the little teeny tiny little hats for 4 to 8 weeks all the way up through. And the boxes now have evolved. Like, I went from donating just garbage bags full of random stuff to now complete kits. Each box is labeled with a gestation and comes with a hat, a blanket, all in the size of what the baby is, so that when you leave something, you have that tangible piece of this is how big the baby was, because you don't realize that, and it helps later on to know, like, I cherish my tiny items of how big Caitlin was, because it's hard to envision what 2 pounds and 10 ounces actually look like. I need to flip my page. And so I've always advocated, right from the moment I lost Caitlin, that it didn't matter how early the loss. And I've just experienced my second loss now. I had a miscarriage in July, and it was a blighted ovum, which means the baby didn't necessarily develop, but it was a fertilized egg, so it was a chance at a baby. So for me, that was a baby. And we named it Sage. So I have 2 losses now, and it just makes me realize even more that it doesn't matter how early, how late, how many you've had, that it all just hurts. And one of the hardest things to cope with that I found with my first loss, and even now with my second, is that you feel alone. You feel like you're the only one going through this, and my store and my work has helped me realize that. And I just want to say, like, thank you all for coming, because this also shows everyone that they're not alone, that there's other people out there who've had the same kinds of feelings as you have. And so I welcome anyone here, or if you want to take my cards, I'm always open to talking to people through email. If you just need someone to reach out to on occasion, or there's also the wonderful support group meeting at Wilson that I'm back to attending regularly. So just thanks for listening, and I'm sorry I cried. I was trying really hard not to.
Thank you, Tiffany. We really depend on her boxes. Everyone gets their own memory box. It's wonderful. If it wasn't for Tiffany, we wouldn't have that. We have a few things that we purchase to do as much as we can, and we donate things, but it just brings it all together. We put it all in that box that Tiffany gave, and people do cherish that.